Before we tackle this new long-term series on my channel, I would like to tell you all about the man behind the garbage we are about to sift through, in the form of a song. He is the very model of a sleazy, rotten porno man, the kind of motherfucker you find eating out of garbage cans. He tried to be a fusion dancer, Larry Flint and Vince McMahon, and XPW was the wrestling company that he ran. Disgusting, bloody garbage that had garnered lots of rabid fans, and in this very video, we see how all the stretch began. ECW knockoff that was held by a no talent act. I'm talking, of course, about the dirty shithead known as Robert Black. I'm talking, of course, about the dirty shithead known as Robert Black. I'm talking, of course, about the dirty shithead known as Robert Black. I'm talking, of course, about the dirty shithead known as Robert Black. He plagued the SoCal wrestling scene with wrestling that was horrible, and shit went down behind the scenes that's just downright deplorable, cause he's a motherfucker you find eating out of garbage cans. He is the very model of a sleazy, rotten porno man. Yes, cause he's a motherfucker you find eating out of garbage cans. He is the very model of a sleazy, rotten porno man. Now, on with the video.
Take two, mother muchachos!
Yes, folks, it's time to revisit the infamous garbage pile that is XPW. For this new long-form series on this channel, we'll be looking over every single episode of XPW TV. Now be warned, there are many episodes of this show that were absolutely nothing but skits and little to no actual wrestling, and when it does get to the wrestling, it's usually highlights of matches from the previously taped events, which I may or may not cover in separate videos from time to time. However, unlike shows like Wrestling Society X or 100% Lucha, I will not be covering just 1 or 2 episodes at a time. No. I'm gonna have to do 4 at a time! So sit back and relax as we take a look at this blood-stained, shit-stained, and knowing the guy behind this possibly cum-stained promotion, XPW. Let's begin with the first 4 episodes. The first episode almost immediately jumps into footage from a world title match between Chris Candido and some guy named Damian Steele. As Chris Kloss, the future voice of Wrestling Society X, gives us Exposition, rush it out ASAP. Chris Kloss talks about how Candido apparently held the belt hostage while Damian Steele was in his second reign as champion, and this match is for the title. Anyway, Candido wins after hitting a diving elbow drop off of a bar. Then it jumps ahead to footage from another show where Shane Douglas shows up, kisses Sonny, and pretends to faint. He cuts a shoot promo saying fuck WCW, blaming Kevin Sullivan, Hulk Hogan, and Ric Flair for its decline. Which is really funny because he would re-sign with WCW like a month later. He then says that he'll carry the company on his shoulders, then we finally get the intro. But again, that's hilarious because, again, Shane Douglas re-signs with WCW like a month later. The commentary team is Chris Kloss and Larry Rivera, who say they're going to bring us up to speed on what the hell is even going on. We then see a bitchy blonde in a bikini top, that's Lizzie Borden by the way, call out the champion Chris Candido, who also just signed with WCW, and the fans all call him a sellout and he agrees. Lizzie demands that Candido defend the belt that night against John Cronus, as Shane Douglas comes out again and schemes with Candido to instead choose Homeless Jimmy as his opponent. We immediately go to that match, or I guess I should say highlights of that match, as we then see Jimmy hit a back body drop, but then outside he gets tossed into a shopping cart full of weapons. Candido hits a long stalling suplex and a pile driver. Jimmy fights back with a cookie sheet, but then gets tossed off the stage. Shane Douglas then accidentally hits Candido with a chair as Jimmy gets a 2 count. Franchise then tosses a chain to Candido as he knocks him out for the win. I can't really rate this match much because we don't actually get to see the full match, it's just highlights of it. Chris Kloss then officially gives us a history lesson about the XPW title. He explains that Damian Steele, who I now realize looks like a Wish version of Test, won a battle royal with help from his faction, the Hierarchy, which included Nicole Bass, John Cronus, and Jake Lawless, who I've never heard of before or after this. Cronus tried to turn on him and win the belt himself, but to no avail. Damien would cheat in his title defenses, only losing the belt to Big Dick Dudley, only for it to be vacated after Dudley's parole officer wouldn't let him wrestle. Jake Lawless then beat Michael Modest in a match we never get to see, only for Steele to end up buying it back. You, sir, are no Ted DiBiase. We then see the end of a match between Damian Steele and Chris Candido, which ended in a no contest, as Lizzie and Sonny then get into a cat fight. And the match from the beginning was apparently how Candido became the current champ. Sheesh, and I thought the WCW title in the year 2000 was complicated. Honestly, why the fuck didn't they open with all of that, so then we'd be able to catch on, and then show Chris Candido beating Damian Steele for the belt, and then that match with Homeless Jimmy? It just doesn't seem to make any sense. It's all out of order. We then see cobbled up footage of Axel Rotten taking on Supreme as Axel wins thanks to help from John Cronus, only for Axel to turn on him, as Supreme then beats the shit out of Axel afterwards, leaving him super bloody. We then go to highlights from their first King of the Deathmatch tournament as Supreme beats Chaos and the Messiah, then Axel Rotten loses to John Cronus after getting suplexed through a board of barbed wire. John Cronus and Supreme then faced off in a barbed wire match where Supreme gets slammed into light bulbs, broken glass, thumbtacks, and barbed fucking wire. The three guys then had a three-way dance at the next show, which saw Supreme hit a horrible dive from the balcony. This guy has the shittiest flying moves ever. It's like he's trying to be a mobile big man without the athleticism. Anyway, the rest of the show is absolutely nothing but a compilation of Lizzie Borden catfighting with other valets in this company. Let's hope episode 2 is a bit more coherent than what the hell this thing was. Episode 2 starts with Shane Douglas turning on his friend Chris Candido, apparently getting revenge for Candido costing him the ECW title back in '99. Then we meet more characters, starting with Johnny Webb in a vignette where he works on his car engine. Then we immediately see him lose to some guy named Phenomenal Phil. He shows up again, interrupting a promo from Dynamite D, saying he'll give him a welfare check, then calls him a 4'3" Jerry Curl dripping midget. Okay, I'll admit that's pretty funny. Then brings in Missy Hyatt as his new valet. He proceeds to then beat Dynamite D with a bunch of weapons. I also want to point out that the commentary team mentions he's been reinvigorated, now having a cigarette in his mouth and wielding a Singapore cane and having Missy Hyatt as his manager. So basically, after losing one match and working on his car for a little bit, he is now a Sandman ripoff. Good to know! Then we see Webb lose a match against Jake Lawless, which includes Bitchy Borden hitting a shitty stunner on a crooked referee. Lizzie then fires Missy Hyatt as she then gets in a catfight with Chastity. Webb then drives up to the office and a bunch of beer cans fall out of his car. Then he goes to beg the sleazy, rotten porno man for her job back, to no avail. Then he gets in the ring, pretending to be drunk, and goes on a rampage. I will say, this guy is actually pretty entertaining. Just too bad he's a crappy wrestler. We then get introduced to probably the best XPW original, the Messiah, who Rob Black originally wants to be billed as Jesus Christ. Another reason for people to hate the guy. We see clips of a match between him and Johnny Webb where Messiah wins with his finisher, the Godsmack. But then Webb ties him to a giant X and beats him with a cane. Okay, seriously, Rob Black? You had to rip off the worst angle in ECW? Anyway, Messiah beats Webb in a thumbtack ladder match during the deathmatch tournament, as their feud continues and it looks like Webb might beat Messiah, but he stops the pin to get some thumbtack.
Idiot.
Webb gets powerbombed onto the tacks, then Messiah goes for the Godsmack, but Webb reverses for the win. Webb then crucifies Messiah a second time, and then they announce a blow-off match for the next event, so I guess we got that to look forward to. We cut to a match between Chaos and Supreme where Supreme gets thrown into a bed of nails, as does Chaos. Supreme gets Chaos on a barbed wire table, but Chaos gets up and punches Supreme in the nutsack and hits a Hurricane Rana through the table. Chaos gets dropped on a barbed wire board, then Supreme sandwiches him between two of them and hits a terrible moonsault for the 3. We get to see more of that ladder match between Webb and Messiah now. Messiah drops the ladder on Webb from the top rope. Webb drop kicks the ladder, making Messiah crash. Webb then flops off the ladder when he grabs the thumbtacks. Webb spreads the thumbtacks on the mat and hits a DDT, and we then see that sunset flip powerbomb again. Then just like that, it cuts to Messiah getting the win. We see John Cronus against Carlito Montana now, and the only thing notable here is that Cronus hits him with a fucking bottle, but it doesn't break. Holy shit, that has to cause some serious brain damage. Axel Rotten then tortures homeless Jimmy for a few minutes by tossing him into beds and nails and repeatedly grinding a barbed wire bat in his face. Axel then hits an unprotected chair shot to the head as Jimmy then flops onto some broken glass. We see Messiah hit a guillotine leg drop on Supreme into a bed of thumbtacks, then more bed of nail spots. Messiah reverses a back body drop and hits an X Factor. Supreme then hits a face buster on the thumbtacks, then hits a splash with a chair on the thumbtacks for the win. John Cronus grinds a barbed wire bat on Axel Rotten's head. Axel hits a DDT, then Cronus suplexes Axel into a barbed wire board. Then Cronus and Supreme face off in the finals where Cronus super kicks Supreme into a bed of glass, then cuts into him with a giant fucking piece of glass. Supreme is repeatedly dropped into the thumbtacks, then gets thrown through the barbed wire. Supreme then displays more of his terrible flying with a bad splash through a table for the win. After the commentary team show up again as Larry Rivera randomly drifts into speaking Spanish.
Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. He's right, man. You're not gonna believe it. Cuando estas dos jevas se metan ahí en el ring, se van a quitar la ropa, una tremenda pachanga se va a enseñar. Oye, it's gonna be crazy, brother. It's gonna be...
We then see that clip of Lizzie Borden and Christy Mist again, this time followed by Christy Mist getting spanked by John Cronus, and then her and Lizzie Borden making out. We get it. Your company is run by a sleazy, rotten porno man. Episode 3 starts with that very same clip, then the Shane Douglas promo again, then a referee yelling at people in the ring. His mic isn't even working, so I don't know what the hell he's even saying. Then, I kid you not, we finally get the full match where Chris Candido defends the world title against Damian Steele in its full, unedited entirety. Finally! After 2 episodes of bullcrap, we finally get a full wrestling match on this wrestling show! And you know what else? It's actually a pretty good match. Sure, it's heel versus heel, and the commentary team keep telling shitty jokes all the way through, but both guys actually work together pretty well and have a good match. Candido manages to retain the title with a sneaky chain shot to get the pin. Chris Kloss then tells us about the tag team tearing it up in XPW, the Westsiders, or the West Side N-words, as Kloss almost puts it before Larry Rivera stops him. We see a vignette where one of the Westsiders, Chronic, cuts a promo in a graveyard pouring out a drink for all of his dead homies. This guy's actually a pretty good talker, to be fair. Then we get a hype package where he displays his in-ring ability, then completely beats Dynamite D to a bloody paste, chokes a guy and whips him with a noose, then cuts a guy's hair, then hangs him on the ring apron. Jesus! We cut to him making an open challenge with his partner Big Rot, which we see is answered by former ECW tag team champs the Pitbulls. Gary Wolf beats Rot with a chair, then Chronic stops him and tosses Anthony Durant to Rot, who hits a scoop slam. Durant gets powerbombed through a table, but dodges when the Westsiders go for a move called the Rocket Launcher. Wolf tags in as a House of Fire, then the Pitbulls toss Big Rot through a table. The Pitbulls then hit the Super Bomb through a table for a win. At the next show, Wolf challenges the Westsiders to a street fight to the death, before it perplexingly cuts to a cage match. The Pitbulls hit a suplex on both guys, then Chronic hits a suplex and tells the crowd to kiss his ass. Both teams brawl, tossing each other into the cage multiple times. A huge dude then threatens the ref to let him in as he gets in the cage with a chair. The Westsiders take control for a bit until Durant body slams the big dude. Wolf hits a double clothesline and nails the big dude with a chair. The match ends when Chronic hits a missile dropkick with the chair and gets the 3. We then get a music video for Homeless Jimmy where he gets weapons out of dumpsters and eats dog food, carrying a sign that says he'll wrestle for food. He's also pretty good in the ring, to be fair. but apparently he's the resident jobber of this promotion. The episode ends with the fucking Shane Douglas promo again. Oh, come on! Episode 4 starts with another music video with footage of the sleazy rotten porno man himself. Then we get a new Shane Douglas promo calling the fans inbred motherfuckers and Tupac wannabes. He has a confrontation with Lizzie Borden, calling her a low-life porno star, then he slaps her. Rob Black shows up and picks a fight with Douglas and forces him to apologize, only he gets sucker punched himself. Then he tells the fans to kiss his ass and lick it clean. That's just awesome. Then a guy named Josh Lazy shows up and reveals that he tricked Rob Black into signing away his ownership of the company. So now we have a power struggle storyline. Rob Black gets on the mic and essentially says this.
You know how much I sacrificed?
We now see footage of the West Siders taking on another original ECW team, the Public Enemy. Johnny Grunge fights Big Rot in the ring while Rocco Rock brawls with Chronic on the outside. Rocco Rock gets crotched on the top rope, then Johnny Grunge splashes Big Rot through a table. Rocco Rock and Chronic brawl in the crowd for a while as Grunge then gets tossed through a table. Then, all of a sudden, it jumps to the Pitbulls showing up mid-match as Rocco puts Durant through 2 tables. So I guess it's now a triple threat. It ends with a big wild brawl as the match is sadly ruled a no contest. That's honestly a shame because, again, this is another match that mostly went unedited except for that one weird jump cut. It was kind of a fun brawl and I wish that we actually saw a fucking winner here. We have now reached the main event of this video between Chris Candido and Shane Douglas for the XPW title. Douglas gets Candido in Wrestling Bio's worst nightmare, the chin lock. Franchises a power slam, then Candido hits a low blow, then they take turns reversing suplexes as Candido gets a small package for a 2 count. Candido reverses a suplex into a DDT but misses a diving headbutt. Then, Josh Lazy shows up and adds Sabu to the match. Sabu hits a springboard moonsault and a double leg drop. Sabu gets Candido on the table and it's a flying leg drop through it. Douglas decks Sabu with the chain and throws Candido on him, but Sabu kicks out. Douglas is too scared to get in the ring as Sabu and Candido duke it out. Sabu hits a flying clothesline to the outside, then Douglas hits a pile driver on Candido. Wait, whose side is he on? The match ends when Candido is pushed onto Sabu for the win. The belt would then be vacated a few weeks later, so mechanics wonder why the fuck didn't you just put the belt on Sabu here? The show closes with another Shane Douglas promo, then Rob Black assaults the cameraman. Well, mother muchachos, that is the end of the video. Be sure to subscribe for more wrestling content. Stay tuned, because I'm going to be covering every single fucking episode of XPW TV, and I'm going to be covering the last 4 episodes of Wrestling Society X, more 100% Lucha eventually, and what other reviews or top 10s I had ideas for. Anyway, pile drive the like button, smack someone in the head with that bell icon, and subscribe for more wrestling content. See you next time.
I'm a nice dude with some nice dreams. See these ice cubes, see these ice creams. Eligible bachelor, $1 million bow. That's whiter than what's spilling down your throat. The phantom, exterior like fish eggs, the interior like suicide wrist rag. I can exercise you, this could be your phys ed. Cheat on your man, that's how you get a his ed. Killer with the B, I know killers in the street with the steel to make you feel like chinchilla in the heat. So don't tryna run up on my ear talking all that raspy shit, tryna ask me shit. When my niggas feel your vest, they ain't gon' pass me shit. You should think about it, take a second. Matter of fact, you should take 4B and think before you fuck a little skateboard B.
When the pimp's in the crib, ma, drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. When the pigs try to get at you, park it like it's hot. Park it like it's hot. Park it like it's hot. And if a nigga get an attitude, pop it like it's hot. Pop it like it's hot. Pop it like it's hot. I got the rollie on my arm and I'm pouring Sean down and I'm all the best weed cause I got it going on.